Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome back to our play-by video of Eldritch Horror and the Dreamlands, where we're facing Altach-Nacha, the Dreamweaver. But before we get on with turn 7, we've got a few boo-boos to fix. Yes, made a couple of errors. So very quickly go through those. The first one involved picking out the 2 spells for Zoey. If you recall, we picked out 2 Azure Flames. We ended up chucking them both back in to stop the gate opening on the Reckoning for Altach-Nacha, but we shouldn't have picked 2 of the same spell. We should have carried on until we got a different spell from Azure Flame, so we'll just do that now. So here we go, here's a spell deck. I'll just do a cut, because all we're going to do is we're going to chuck it in anyway. Poison Mist, that would have been the one that we chucked in rather than what we did chuck in, which was Azure Flame. Hope you can see that because I'm not behind the camera. Right, so we'll put this back, give it a quick shuffle, and we will put it back in here. Right, what was the other thing we got wrong? Well, it was Gloria. If you recall, Gloria actually shut the gate on Ulthar, but when she did it, she did have the astronomy guidebook. Again, I'm hoping you can see this. What it does say, if you close the gate while you've got the astronomy guidebook, you can actually gain a sanity back, which will be very nice, and you also gain a clue. So we've got the sanity, so brilliant. Put these to one side, but now she's got to gain a clue as well, and very important this clue will be, because we need it this turn. So there we go, we have got a clue. Brilliant stuff. Right, we'll put these on her player tray. That's it for the introduction. Let's find out what happened last time in the Dreamlands. Mandy wandered a long time in the Dreamlands. From the Enchanted Wood she had travelled to Ulthar, the city of cats, where she realised that these lands, while populated with the weird, wild and wonderful, were also full of dreamers from Earth. In the busy streets of Ulthar, it wasn't long before she met up with others who were seeking answers about the Dreamweaver. Talking to several people, Mandy learned much uncomfortable lore about the mother of all spiders. Even the denizens of the Dreamlands were afraid. The cats of Ulthar were, by turns, helpful, then obstructive, exhibiting a willful capriciousness that put even their earthbound cousins to shame. Mandy had taken it easy. She was still feeling the ill effects of her attack in Shanghai, but she seemed to be finally getting over it now. That was more than could be said for the others. A woman named Gloria seemed particularly affected, both mentally and physically. She was seeing a local shrink and getting into debt. And then there was a driven young man called Tommy, who seemed to be pounding himself into the ground. They all had tales to tell, as did Mandy herself. At night she would collate and cross-reference everything she had learned, using all her experience to search for hints and clues as to what to do next. So it was that Mandy had come across Dana. Mandy had heard that there was a woman who could tell her anything she wanted to know about spiders, so Mandy had sought her out. Not before time. She had found Dana in a filthy backstreet drinking den, chanting to herself. Mandy had spoken with her, and Dana had kept repeating that she must present herself to the Spider Mother. Web and weave and web, she kept repeating again and again and again, as she scratched sigils into her arm with a needle. Mandy sat with her for over an hour, pleading and cajoling, until Dana had begun to come around. Eventually her story had come tumbling out. The Spider Mother was a goddess named Altach-Nacha, and she and her dark brood were building a web to connect Earth to the Dreamlands. There were gates to be sealed, and her dark brood that had come to the Dreamlands from Leng had to be stopped. Gloria and Randolph were seated at an outdoor cafe sipping some coffee when they were greeted by Tommy once again. He told them he had been travelling for quite some time, and then he introduced a young red-haired woman named Mandy Thompson. Mandy told them that she was a researcher studying all that had been going on. They sat for quite some time exchanging tales of their adventures, each learning from the other. Suddenly, Tommy remembered something he had recently acquired. He handed Gloria a set of skeleton keys, and he said this should bring her some luck. Gloria doubted her luck could change, but she gladly took the item. Later, back at their hotel, Gloria and Randolph sat in the lounge area once again. Gloria pulled out the stone tablet, and they tried again to read the strange writing. This time they could read part of it, and discovered some strong information about the Weaver and how the webs were extending throughout the dreams. This was an important discovery. She would have to try and read more of the tablet later. The next morning, Gloria and Randolph went in search of the crack again, finding it easily. They stepped through and discovered a long-destroyed city. Large beetles had created nests everywhere. There was so much destruction here that it was really no longer to be considered a city. But after some walking around, and after avoiding the beetles, they had actually run across one of them directly in their tracks, and they learned that this was actually once one of the great race of Yith. How they had become these horrible beetles was lost in time, but Gloria convinced the being to send them back, and it agreed. Once again they were back in Ulthar, and the crack closed behind them. They were delighted at their accomplishment, but that would be short-lived, as suddenly 3 men stepped before them and demanded that Gloria repay her debt to the doctor. When she asked for more time, they attacked. Randolph tried valiantly to hold them back, but he was severely outnumbered, and Gloria had no chance as one man struck her hard with the butt of his gun. They heard a cat screech. This was apparently a signal to the men. They left with everything in Randolph's wallet, his pocket watch, and Gloria's jewellery. Gloria and Randolph limped back to their hotel. Randolph needed to support Gloria as she could barely walk. He said they should go to the doctor. She had laughed as she took a cigarette and lit it, reminding him that it was a doctor that had got them into this. Zoey was exhausted from the climb into the heart of the Himalayas. She was also resentful about her new companion. God had explained that Zoey needed some help on this particular mission, so Zoey decided to tolerate the bounty hunter. Time to see if this woman was worth the patience. Night fell as the 2 hunters slipped quietly into the monastery. A short time later, Zoey found the captive monks and the small army of cultists preparing them for a sacrifice. No monsters this time. A pity. Well, Zoey could deal with that too. She pointed Jet to the far side of the room. You take the ones on the left. Tommy awoke with a start, his whole body convulsing violently, followed by a racking cough. He composed himself, and as his vision cleared, took in his surroundings. The cabin in Alaska. A weak light penetrated the window, revealing an unnerving network of webs covering all 4 walls. A multitude of dark shapes slowly moved to regard him, hundreds of tiny red eyes glaring hatefully at him. Somehow the webs seemed to avoid a perfect circle around his position, and he realised that the sword of St. Jerome, which he had grasped in his hands, must have kept the vile creatures at bay whilst he slept. Cutting his way to the door, he forced his way out and gazed upon a cold, frigid land that looked nothing like Alaska. The real world. His chin itched, and he realised that he had a beard. It was all so surreal. He had to get back to Ulthar. The fight was in the balance, and he needed to be there. He was hungry and thirsty, and his muscles ached from constant conflict. There was no time for rest. Lighting a fire, he torched the cabin and heard the death shrieks of the arachnids, which gave him tremendous satisfaction. He then huddled close to the fire for warmth and forced himself to relax, and he lay there staring compulsively into the flames, envisaging the enchanted wood he had first appeared in before. Tommy was relieved to finally reach Ulthar. As soon as he had awoke, he had pushed himself hard without resting and without sustenance. People were counting on him. Ulthar was in turmoil and under dire threat from the Weaver. It too had suffered from the horror that came to Dilath Leen. The Weaver's strands emanated from tears in reality, anchoring the weaver's machinations. The people were gripped by fear, and multitudes of cats bounded forth, locked in running battles with predatory spiders. It was a monumental task, and Tommy felt overwhelmed. He needed help. Monsieur Muldoon, a flame-haired woman in a top hat and garments that would suit a stage magician, appeared next to him. Her eyes bored into his, and she had a wry smile on her lips, as if she knew things about him that even he didn't know. "Come with me immediately." She turned, strode 2 meters and shouted, "To the suite," over her shoulder. Tommy was introduced to another striking redhead called Mandy, and Mandy was allied to Gloria and Randolph. The powerful group came together and planned their assault to free Ulthar. Tommy chuckled smugly to himself. Destiny and Providence had brought them together for a purpose, and together they were unstoppable. Ulthar was freed, all traces of the Weaver were purged. A victory had been achieved, for now. The group were jubilant, and Tommy put a hand on Gloria and Mandy's shoulders, smiling unreservedly. "We did it." And as he said it, all his resolve and grim will to push on seemed to evaporate, and all the exertion and hunger and thirst rushed in to fill its place. Tommy's vision swam, and it went dark. He pitched forward onto the floor in blissful oblivion. And here we are at the action phase. Our first investigator will be Mandy Thompson. It's a little too dangerous to keep Tommy as first investigator. Now he's down to a single health. Also, Gloria's pretty much out of the question. So, Mandy Thompson it shall be. So, what is Mandy going to do? Well, the first thing she's going to do is she's going to do a trade action with Gloria. And she is going to trade for the stone tablet. It's a unique asset. Item relic. When you perform a rest action, you may attempt to decipher the carvings on the tablet. Law -1. If you pass, flip this card. Remember, we did this last turn. And if we spend 2 clues that Mandy has, we can close any gate we wish, then discard this card. So that is why we're going to hand it across. So that will go across to Mandy. Then, for her second action, surprisingly enough, she is going to rest. So that does mean that she gets a sanity back. So that puts her up to a sanity of 6 now. So that's pretty cool. In addition, it's stone tablet time. So she's got to test law -1. She's got a law of 6 because she has the Argent of Secrets. So that is the last time I'm going to attempt any sort of accent, and she will get 5 dice. So we need to pass in order to flip it. And we do. We get 2 successes there, which is absolutely brilliant. So we'll flip this over and just confirm what we read last time. You may spend 2 clues to discard 1 gate of your choice on any space, then discard this card. So we'll discard this card. It's double-sided, so it'll go back into the deck. I'll have to shuffle it in. But the important thing is we can spend 2 clues to get rid of a gate. And that's very important because we've got 2 sunburst gates. And we have got sunbursts coming up next on the omen track. So she's going to discard 2 of these clues. Which particular gate we're going to get rid of? Well, that one's pretty easy as well. It's got to be a red sunburst, and we'll get rid of Sydney because nobody wants to go anywhere near that Loigor. So the Sydney gate has been discarded, which is great news. We'll put that over here with the main board discards, and we will get rid of these clues. Won't be a second. And back again. So that was pretty good. We've managed to get rid of that horrible gate. So, having got rid of the gate, that is now it for Mandy's turn. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the astronomy guidebook. I don't think it kicks in if you're on the same space. I'll just check. No, it has to be another world encounter anyway, and that wasn't another world encounter. We just got to discard the gate. So, fabulous. That's it for Mandy's turn. We may as well stay here because Gloria is next. What is Gloria going to do? Well, first of all, she is absolutely going to rest. She's on a single health. Now, she can also recover a sanity at the same time. So she's going to go up to 2 health and back up to 8 sanity, which is good. So we'll put those on a player tray. So that is brilliant. So she has rested. What else to do? Well, for a second action, she may as well test the Mythos Codex, which she's had for a while. She's had it from right at the beginning. So it's an item tome. Action, you must muster the courage to look upon the secrets of the universe. Test will. Now, she is actually cursed, but, which reminds me, I'll have to take these out. They're going to be no good. So we'll get rid of those. Her will is 3. She gets +2, however, from Randolph. So that is going to be 5 cursed dice. So come on. Come on, Glow. Let's have it. A 6 is required. A 6 is required. She got 2. So she's got 2 successes. Let's just read a bit further down when it focuses. If you pass, the pages contain knowledge your mind can hardly fathom. Flip this card. Mythos Codex. Flipping through the faded pages of the Codex, you begin to understand the horrifying truth about the Ancient Ones and their myriad spawn. Resolve one effect of your choice. You may spend 1 sanity to gain 1 clue, then flip this card, or you may spend 3 clues to advance the active mystery by 1, then discard this card. Now, she's only got 2 clues, even though she used the astronomy guidebook last turn. Well, we remembered this turn. She's only got 2, and we need them for something else. But that is a good thing to remember. We'll keep the Codex and see if we can use that later on. As it is, we will spend 1 sanity, because remember, she went back up to 8. She'll go back down to 7, and she'll gain a clue. So let's get the clue bag. And now she will have 3 clues. And there's the clue. Put that on a player tray. And while we put that on a player tray, we will pick up the sanity that she has got to discard. Put Mythos Codex back onto her player tray, and now we know exactly what that does. If we can get 3 clues in the future, then we could advance the mystery by 1, so that is excellent to know. Oh, just before Gloria finishes her action phase, good job I remembered, nearly forgot. Obviously, we've still got Randolph, and Randolph, once per turn, can see what is on top of the actual gate stack. So let's get across to the gate stack and see what is there. And here we are at the gate stack, which is right next to the dice cup. So what have we got? We have got another red sunburst gate on Shanghai, no less. Now, we're going to keep this. The reason is, we will move the omen track probably this turn. So it will already go onto a sunburst gate. So by the time this comes out, we won't be moving Doom at all. And we'll have a whole sort of rotation of omens before we get back to red sunburst. So we'll keep this one on the top. But that's very important, because if you remember, we do have that rumour on Buenos Aires whereby we don't want anybody on Shanghai when this gate comes out, otherwise we'll get lost in time and space. Right, so that is Randolph using his special ability. That is the end of Gloria's action phase, so it must be Zoey Samaras. So let's get up to the Himalayas. And here we are at the Himalayas. Let's get the silly dice cup out of the way. Here is Zoey. What is Zoey going to do? Well, she is going to rest. And the reason she's going to rest is she wants to test will. So let's get this in here. We'll get rid of those cursed dice because she doesn't use them. And whoop, put them over there. Let's see what her will is. Her will is 5. So she's going to get 5 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's resting. So that means she will actually get a sanity back as well. But let's roll to see if she can get to the enchanted wood. And she can. She got 3 successes. We'll move over to the enchanted wood. I'll pick out a sanity to put onto her player tray, and we will see where she goes from there. And here we are at the Dreamlands. So Zoey ends up in the enchanted wood. Great stuff. And because she's in the enchanted wood, that means she can use a local path for free. So she is going to come down to Ulthar as well. So that is the end of her rest action. What is she going to do next? Well, she is going to travel next, and she's going to travel to Altach-Nacha. But she's not finished there. Why not? Well, she has a ship ticket, and she's going to spend it. That means she can get to Celephais. And the good thing about Celephais is it's another red sunburst, and that is the next omen. So we've managed to get somebody there to try and close the gate before the omen trap moves. Righto, so there she is. She's in Celephais. That's the end of her second action. So let's move on to our last investigator, who is Tommy Muldoon. And here we are with Tommy. What's Tommy going to do? Well, he's on 1 health. So the first thing he's going to do is rest. He's at full sanity, so all he'll get is the single health, but that will push him up to 2, and he's going to need it. So he is now up to 2 health. What he's also going to do is he is going to use that local path, and he is going to go to the enchanted wood. Once he's in the enchanted wood, for his second action, he is going to use the component action on his studious talent. So he can test his will -1. So let's do that. What is his will? His will is 3. He's still blessed. Unfortunately, he doesn't get his Sword of St. Jerome bonus because he's not in combat, but he will get 3 blessed dice. So I shouldn't have kept these in here really. Right, let's get rid of those. So 1, 2, 3 blue dice. 4s or better. Oh no, it's -1, isn't it? 2 blue dice. Sorry about that. Yes, it is -1. Come on, so we've got a 50-50 chance on these dice. He gets a 5. That is good enough. So let's have a look. Improve 1 skill of your choice, then flip this card. What we're going to improve is will again. It's already +1. It's now going to go up to +2. So we'll flip that over. So he will be rolling 3 dice if he goes for this card again. So let's flip the card. You got 0 to 2 successes. The more you study, the more work erodes your stability. Lose 2 sanity unless you discard this card. Well, his sanity is now at 5, which is his max. So I think what we'll do is we will lose the 2 sanity. It still leaves him with 3. This is a pretty good card. Let's see what the 3+ is though. You discover a greater pattern in what you have studied. Improve 1 other skill of your choice. You've got a chance of improving 2 skills. He'll still have 3 sanity left, so I think we'll go for that. I think Tony would go for that. So that's what we'll do. So 2 sanity. He's got 3 left, remember. Okay. So there we go. He'll do another rest action probably next turn because he still hasn't got much health. So he should get one of those sanity back. So hopefully it'll be okay. Hopefully I haven't killed him. We shall see. Right, I think that is it for his actions. Yes, he rested, then he moved, then he did the component action on Studious. That is it for his actions, and that is it for the actions of the team. So next up, it is the encounter phase. And we may as well stay here because Mandy is our first investigator. what is Mandy going to do? Well, she's going to cast Clairvoyance again. She's going to go for it. So Clairvoyance, what we've got to do is during the encounter phase, we may test Law. Her Law with the Agent of Secrets is 6. So we're going to get 6 normal dice. And we need as many successes as possible. At least 2 would be nice. We get a 6 and a 5, so we do get the 2 we need, which, if I recall correctly, is pretty funky. 2 plus. As you scry, your sight falls upon a previously hidden source of knowledge. Spawn 1 clue. So we get to spawn a clue. Let's see where it's going to go. And it is going to space 2, which is bloody miles away. But if you've got Clairvoyance, it doesn't really matter. So that goes on to space 2. And because we've passed Clairvoyance, that means we can do a research encounter. Let's put Clairvoyance back. Get the research encounter deck when I can find it. And what clue are we actually going to pick up? I think that we will pick up... We'll pick up space 3. So South Atlantic clue. That's the one we're going to have a go for. So we'll put it up here when we can see it. Shuffle the deck. And a cut. And we are in a city because we're in Ulthar. Ooh. A giant spider is so bloated with magical energy that it can hardly move. You try to siphon some of the magic while it struggles to escape. Test Law. Law. Brilliant. 6 dice again. So we'll keep those. And whoop, we'll keep that 4 as well. And we'll pick a couple of others out. So up to 6. Come on. Let's have a success. Come on. And we get a 6. Oh yes. Rolling like thunder. If you pass, you steal some of its power, gain this clue and a spell. And that's the fail condition. But we didn't fail because we're amazing. So there's the clue. And we get an extra clue because of her passive ability. So we're up to 2 clues. So even if we get a reckoning, we can knock back Altach-Nacha's gate. Plus we get a spell that we might be able to use as well. So there's the extra clue. Oh, this is shaping up to be another funky turn. Where's the spell deck? Right, here it is. Quick crap shuffle. And a cut. And then off the bottom, what do we get? What is it? Dread Curse spell. Is this a new one? No, no. Incantation. When resolving a combat encounter, you may test Law -2. Blimey, that'd be 4 dice. If you pass, gain 8 strength during that encounter. Mandy is now a beast. So that's fantastic. Rolling 4 dice to get +8. We'll keep that because, to be honest, she'll have to do that. She's got an absolutely rubbish strength of 1. So that's a pretty good spell. Might have to chuck it at some point. But if we can do, we might try and keep hold of that. It's a pretty good spell. But there we go. Let's get it over there on a player tray. We'll put those back there. And she has done brilliantly. That is the end of her encounter phase. We'll discard this. And who is next? And here we are with Gloria. What is Gloria going to do in the encounter phase? Just let me check Dave's notes. Right, we're going to do an Ulthar encounter. And the reason we're doing the Ulthar encounter is we're going to try and solve this adventure here. We need to resolve an Ulthar encounter. The good thing about resolving an encounter is you don't have to pass it. You just have to do it. So let's get the deck, the blue deck. Here we are. Let's give it a good shuffle. And a cut. And let's see what we get. Ulthar. The cats have captured a Zoog. and you offer to question it. Influence -1, which is, I think her influence is 3. Let me just check. Her influence is 3. She doesn't get any help from anywhere else, and she's cursed. So, was it a minus as well? Yeah, -1. So, she's going to get 2 cursed dice. What on earth are you offering for? Oh. A 4 and a 1. We're not going to use any clues. We are not going to use any clues. Right. So, we failed. If you fail, the prisoner attacks you. A Zoog monster ambushes you. Oh, you're kidding! She's only on 2 health. Oh, God! Here it is. They're off to one side. So we set these aside at the beginning. Focus. That's nice. It's eating somebody's hand. Oh, it's only got 1 toughness. Thank God for that. +1 on the will test for the horror check. And, oh, it's observation. If you fail the observation test, you discard an item. Oh, that's easy. Well, thank God for that. It's not even going to kill us, even if we fail. But first of all, we've got to do the horror checks. +1. So, +1. Horror. She has 5 will because of Randolph. So she's going to get 6 cursed dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And she actually got a 6. So she don't lose any sanity at all. Then we've got it's observation, isn't it? -1. Let's check. Observation -1. We could still lose her health though. So what's her observation? 3, I think. Yeah, it is 3. So we're going to get 3 dice. Let's get rid of these. Was it -1? No, we're going to get 2 dice. Ooh. Could do with getting this. Come on. Come on. It's a 6, we did it. A 6, we did it. So that means we killed it. So we don't need to discard an item possession. And because this is a special monster that we pull out because of the actual rules for this particular Dreamlands game, it'll have to go back over here. So it doesn't go back into the bag. It just goes set off to one side. Well, we got away with that one. Not only that, it means because we resolved the encounter, we can do something special. And what's that? Well, let's have a look at the adventure card. After an investigator resolves a location encounter on Ulthar, which Glow's just done, the cats of Ulthar beseech them to broker a peace treaty with the Zoogs. They may spend 2 clues to advance the active mystery by 1. Whether or not they spend the clues or not, we complete this adventure. So this is completed, but we are going to spend the clues. The next adventure is, if you recall, it told us to pick this out last time. The next adventure is Beyond the River Sky. Otherworldly Dreams 3. You cross the creaky wooden bridge and enter the twisted pathways of the enchanted wood. All around you, blinking eyes peer at you from the darkness, none of them friendly. When this card enters play, place an adventure token on the enchanted wood. When this adventure is completed, draw the Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath adventure. Right, so that's just behind there. It's the final adventure. As an encounter, an investigator on the enchanted wood may search the deck for the enchanted wood Dream Quest encounter and resolve it. After resolving that encounter, he may spend 1 focus to gain a Moxie condition. Whether he spends the focus or not, we will complete this adventure. Cool. So, Beyond the River Sky is next. Cool. But we've got to spend 2 clues. So, that is what we are going to do. We're going to spend 2 clues. We advance the mystery by 1. That means we get a health token. And that goes on to the mystery. That counts as 1 health against those leng spiders. So we only need another 3. Remember, we need enough as to equal the number of investigators, which is 4. So we've got 1 already. And the good thing is a leng spider has 3 health. So that means we only have to kill 1 now. So fantastic. So Gloria, nice one. Oh, we've got to move the adventure token, which very nicely goes to meet Tommy on the Enchanted Wood. That is it for Gloria. Who's next? Next up is Zoey. And Zoey is at Celephais, where she's sat by an open gate. And here we are with Zoey in Celephais, and she's next to that Celephais gate. Let's see if we can't shut it. So that will mean another world encounter. So let's get the deck from up here. And shuffle as always. And then we will do a quick cut. And what do we get? City of the Great Race. One of the other Yithians claims to be an ancient Egyptian warrior in the army of Sneferu, who drove Neferenka into hiding. You ask him to tell you the secrets of his struggles against the Dark Pharaoh. Test. Influence. What's her influence? Her influence is 2, which is tact. Does she get anything else? No, unfortunately. So she's got 2 dice, but at least she isn't cursed like poor old Glow. So come on, Zoey. 2 5s. Oh yes. Oh yes. Let's do it. Sympathetic to your cause, the warrior teaches you a complicated chant. Test law. I think a law's okay. It is 3, so we'll get an extra dice. Unfortunately, we don't get anything from the Mystic Bounty Hunter. That is just during combat, during spells, and this isn't a spell. So 3 dice. Come on. Another 5 would be nice. Oh, damn it. Has she got a focus? No, she hasn't. Cobblers. Right, she hasn't got a clue either. So we failed. If you fail, the Dark Pharaoh's arcane power prevents your return. Gain a Bane condition. Oh, damn it. And we haven't even closed the gate. Oh, that's bad. That is bad. Let's just check there's nothing I can't do. No. No, there's nothing there. So, unfortunately, we've got a Bane condition. I wonder what this will be. So, these are the Banes. Oh, it was going really well as well, wasn't it? Every time it's going really well, we get a Bane condition. Right, here we go. Let's do a cut. Don't be cursed. Oh, it isn't. Haunted condition. Bane. If you would gain a blessed condition or improve will, you may discard this card instead. Well, that sounds a real git to get rid of. On a reckoning, we roll 1 die. On a 1, 2 or 3, flip this card. In fact, I might have preferred a curse condition. That sounds like it's going to be bad when we flip it over. Okay, so we need to get blessed or to improve our will. Pretty sharpish. Right, well, poor old Zoey's haunted, I'm afraid. So we weren't able to keep our luck streak going, unfortunately, and we haven't shut that gate either. So if we do get a woman trap movement, we are going to get a doom hit. So that is a downer. Right, that is it for Zoey. Next up, it is Tommy Muldoon, and he's at the Enchanted Wood. We may as well stay here. He's still in shot, isn't he? Right, so what's he going to do at the Enchanted Wood? He's going to do a research encounter. It's a wilderness space, and he does have a focus. So, research encounter over here. Let's see if he can match Mandy. He's still blessed, remember. Cut, and he does have a focus. Wilderness. An ear-splitting screech nearly deafens you. A leng spider monster ambushes you. I wonder if this counts. If we kill it. If you pass the will test, you learn much by observing it during the struggle. Gain this clue and 1 spell. If you fail the will test, it catches you off guard and knocks you to the ground. Oh, I shouldn't have read that. Sorry, I was just, yeah, my fault, but we'll have to go on with it now. Shouldn't really do that. That was a mistake on my part, but I was just getting eager because I saw Leng Spider. So it ambushes us. So that is combat. That is combat. I'm just going to check Beast from Beyond, which is our mystery. Oh no, we've got to do it as part of another world encounter. That isn't another world. That is a research encounter. So unfortunately, we won't get it onto here, which is a bit of a bummer. But let's dig the Leng Spider out. So we've got the will test. So it's a flat will test. We've got to get 2 successes, and then it is a -1 test. But he's got the he does have the sword, so we should be okay. So horror check. Let's test will. His will is, he's just put it up, hasn't he? So I think he's got 4 dice. He does have 4 dice. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 or better, please. Well, he got 1 success at least. So he only loses a single sanity. I don't think, we're not going to use his focus token on that. He's got sanity, so he goes down to 2. Oh, I forgot he lost. I had him pay a couple, didn't I? So, oh, I get 2, I put a 3 in. But that's not too bad. Okay, right, so he's done that, and now it's the combat. Oh, there was a thing, wasn't there? He did pass, so even though he lost a sanity, he did count as passing that. We did pass, so although he lost a sanity, he did get a success, and that counts as passing. So we gain this clue and 1 spell. Woo! So there's the clue. And we gain a spell. We may as well do it. I think we've actually got to finish the combat, so we will do that in a sec, but we do get a spell. And the spell he gets is Arcane Insight. This is immense. This is a clue spell. Action. Choose yourself or another investigator on any space and test law -2, Mandy. Roll 1 additional die for each tome possession you have. If you pass, that investigator gains 1 clue, and then we flip this card. Actually, Glow's got a couple of tomes, but so it might be good for her as well. But unfortunately, not while she's cursed. So, nice spell. And we can always chuck it if we have to. Right, we're a bit close to the wire here. And I do think we have got to carry on with the ambush. It does say it does ambush us. So what we've got to do, we get to do the strength test because we didn't fail the will test again. We did lose a sanity, but we didn't fail because we got a single success. So we do the strength test, which is -1. He's obviously going to use his 3 strength and his sword. Oh, you know what? He may get that sanity back. He's got the Sword of St. Jerome, and it was a combat encounter, so he gets 2 extra dice. So we're just going to roll those 2 dice. He got 2 successes, so he didn't lose a sanity after all. So he totally passed. Going to allow that because I remembered it before I actually rolled the combat. So he does get that back. So he is back on 3. Foo. 3 plus 5 is 8. I think it was a -1, wasn't it? It is a -1. So we get 7 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we need 2 successes. Come on. And he gets 3 successes. So he actually killed it. But unfortunately we cannot put it on the mystery because this was a research encounter, not another world encounter or a, what was the other type of encounter we could have had? a Dream Quest encounter. Because it's a research encounter, we cannot use it towards the mystery, unfortunately. So we'll put it off to one side again. But at least he didn't lose any more health. And we remembered the sword for his sanity as well. So we got away with no sanity loss. Whew. Right, and we got the clue, and we got another spell. And a good spell at that. So, excellent. That is it for Tommy. And that is it for the encounter phase. Next up, it's the laugh and chuckle phase. And here we are at the laugh and chuckle phase. Well, there's nothing else for it. Let's see what we've got. So here's the deck. And we have a green card, so it is a Monster Surge. But first of all, we've got Omen movement. So we do move onto a red sunburst. Unfortunately, we do have a red sunburst gate, which is downer because we've got to move Doom down to 7. But at least we shut Sydney, so it wasn't a Doom movement of 2. Next, we do have a Monster Surge because we do have a red sunburst gate. Let me get the monster bag. And here is the monster bag. So we get 2 monsters. The first one is... what's this? Oh, a goat spawn. Well, at least it hasn't got a reckoning. Toughness of 2. Will check, it's no penalty, and we just need to get 1 success to avoid losing the sanity. Strength test is -2, but we need 2 successes to avoid losing health. Toughness 2, as I say. If you defeat this monster during a combat encounter, you may gain a Dark Pact condition to discard 1 monster from any space. I don't usually like Dark Pacts, but we'll keep that in mind, especially if we get near the end of the game, because then that might come in very useful indeed. But as it stands, I don't think we do that. I mean, we still have dynamite, for example, in the asset reserve, so we don't really need anything extra than that in order to get rid of nasty monsters. So we've got a goat spawn, and the second monster that's going to come out of the Celephais gate is... which is actually, we've got bloody Zoey there, haven't we? So that's a bit of a down. Oh, a 4 toughness horror. A flying polyp. It's got a reckoning. No. -1 on the will test for the horror check. We need 2 successes to avoid sanity loss. The strength test is -2. We need 2 successes to avoid health loss. 4 toughness. And a reckoning. Move this monster to the nearest space containing a gate. Well, at least it's not going to move yet because it's on the Celephais gate. But those are 2 nasty monsters we could do without. I will set these up. Bear with me. There we go. With the magic of editing, I will speed that up. What else do we have to do? We've done the Monster Surge, that's it. So now it is all the nice stuff. We get some clues. Let's get the clue bag. At least we haven't wanted for clues in this game. So this is going to Rome. Why couldn't that turn up when Zoey was there? And the next one is Space 16. Up in northern Russia. Look at all them clues there. All them clues in Russia and Europe. For the taking! For the taking! Right, we've done those. Whoop. Right, let's see the bad news on the card. At least there's no tentacles on it. The threat of these ancient evils is not limited to forsaken temples and the world's uncharted depths. You see it now in every corner market. At every level of commerce, cruelty and deception have taken root. Corrupted business. Ongoing. Great. When this card enters play, discard each asset from the reserve with a value of 2 or less, and that's discard. Doesn't go back into the deck. Well, thankfully we don't lose dynamite, but we do lose divination, which would have come in handy probably at some point. We keep Gambler's Dice, and we keep the puzzle box. They are all three, so we got lucky there. We only lost Divination. So that means we need to pull out another. So I think it's just from the asset reserve, is it? Yeah, just from the reserve. I think when we replace it, if we get one now for 2 or less, I don't think we discard it. I don't think. I think it's just what was in the reserve when we read the card. Right, what we're going to get. An Arcane Scholar. Let me know if we've got to get rid of him, but I don't think we have. So, and he's pretty good as well. Gain +1 law. It's that reroll that's good though for a law test. We'll put him in. We may have to change that over. I don't think we do. I think it was just what was in the actual asset reserve when we read the card. When an investigator performs an acquire assets action, he may gain an agreement condition. They're nasty as well, but if we keep this, which we probably won't, but if we do keep this, again, near the end of the game, getting 4 successes to your test result could be pretty good. On a reckoning, each investigator loses 2 sanity for each deal condition they have, then discard this card. Do not have a deal condition like an agreement. An agreement is a deal condition. Yes, because, yeah, losing 2 sanity, nasty. I don't think anybody's got a deal condition at the moment, so we're okay. And I don't think... The only thing I think we'd go into the reserve for at the moment is the dynamite. So we might just wait till this card goes. So, again, we've got to set this up. So, find a stand for it and get rid of those. The stand, we'll put it up here. Put it up here where we can see it. Good-o. Right, that is the end of the Mythos phase. Well, in many ways it went very well. We were straight out of the blocks. I was rolling like a demon and we really, really did well. The sort of wheels came off a bit later on. So we had a bit of trouble with Gloria, we had a bit of trouble with Tommy, and but really the real bad one was Zoey not being able to shut that gate. And now, of course, we've got a monster surgeon. She's got 2 horrible monsters with her. At least she can do a runner. We could do with actually chucking some dynamite in there. Let's have a look. So each monster on your space loses 3 health and discard this card. So if we could get some dynamite into there, you know, getting 3 health off that, what was it, a flying polyp, this would kill the goat spawn and it'd leave the flying polyp with just 1 health, so that could be useful. But for the time being, probably Zoey probably have to get out of dodge. The good thing is we've gone past the red sunburst omen, so we've got another few turns before that comes round again. So Shanghai shouldn't be a problem coming out, and hopefully we'll be able to sort those monsters out and shut Celephais. It was a real pity we couldn't do it this turn, because the plan was she'd close Celephais and then we would do that thing with the Leng Spider and hopefully kill the Leng Spider, and we would have advanced the mystery. That was the grand plan. But it was ambitious. We got quite a bit of it done, you know, like we advanced the adventure and stuff like that. But and we did shut the Sydney gate, so it was just the last bit. Just couldn't keep the rolling going, which was unfortunate. And Glow, it's just horrible, this curse. I've had 2 goes at trying to get rid of it on a reckoning and have failed, so that is really pants. I'm glad I remembered about the sword. An ambush is a combat encounter, so he could use the bonuses off the sword, thankfully. So that stopped him getting, that stopped Tommy losing a sanity, fortunately. Again, what we could have done the adventure, because the adventure moved to there just before Tommy started, but Tony did state he wanted to do the research encounter, and to be honest, you know, it's always good getting a clue, and he did get a clue, so, you know, that'll come in useful somewhere else, I think. I think next turn will be more resting, and then let's see if we can close a gate or two. We could do with closing that Buenos Aires gate in the underworld, perhaps get somebody down there, kill that buyer key, and try and get rid of that Buenos Aires gate. That'd be pretty good. Yes, and Tommy's in the Enchanted Wood, where the adventure is. So we can have a go at that adventure and try and move that on. I mean, it's getting a moxie condition or something like that. But, you know, the last adventure, it's got Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath on it, so it's probably, you've got to go to Unknown Kadath, I would have thought. And what you can do is, that's got to have a mystery or something on it, you know, and advance the mystery thing, or something really funky for doing the final adventure. So, you know, perhaps we can move that on. Anyway, this is going to be a horrendously long turn. When I saw it and when I saw all the plans, I thought, oh, there's a lot of combat and stuff in here. So we're probably well over an hour. So I'll shut up and we'll get on with it. All in all, pretty good turn. Just a bit of a bummer about the Celephais gate. But other than that, you know, quite happy. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Thanks very much for all the subscriptions and for all the views and for all the likes. It really is appreciated. Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who's been over to Board Game Links to upvote the site. We're still in 11th. Amazing. Can't believe it. And everybody on BGG who's liked the videos or commented on any of the videos as well. Thank you so much. That is it for turn 7 of Eldritch Horror, the Dreamlands. I hope you will join me in a few days' time for turn 8. But until then, this is me, Catweazle, who's just going to remember before he finishes to say, if you've noticed any errors, please let me know. I am a bit sort of, I'm full of decongestants. I've been like eating tunes, try and keep my voice going. Oh, there are other like throat lozenges available. And basically, I'm a bit drugged up, so I might, well, I probably have anyway, but it's not going to help my catching mistakes and stuff, so I may well have missed something or read something wrong or whatever. I am full of a cold. But anyway, get on with it, get on. See, I'm rambling. I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.